Okay, so at the end of the last video, I did say that we would be covering this service at participant settings next, but I overlooked one of the biggest services of all with this website and application. It is the for the whole screen you see here, and the pool information is called getPools. It's what everything revolves around. This website is building pools based on the current uh, lottery games, jackpot amounts, and distributing different pool sizes so everybody can join different pool sizes. So without getting too much into that, because this is a technical video based on how this services architecture works, let's look at that particular request because we just did run it to get this screen. So if we look at the activity log, we see a request for getPools, and then of course the regular CGI job for the HTTP instance. We get the same information with everything we run. It's very handy. This thing put a lot of information and it ran very quickly, 0.2 milliseconds. So let's look at the request. The request is for this particular user that's signed on, this guy here, go get the lottery name of Powerball and get the lump sum amounts of what the winnings would be for the current jackpot. If we look at the response, we see that it did pull back two different arrays. One array is this information here. So it's kind of a summary level of all the two different lottery games we play, the next drawing date, the lump sum, and it gives options for that. And then the other array is this. Actually, I'm not sure if it's even an array. Yeah, it is. It's a small array. That has the pools and the individual pools that you can join. And also you get these flags in here, whether it's at capacity or if you're already registered, yes, no. That tells the front end here whether to allow it to be joined or just say view it. So you can unenroll if you wanted to. So that type of information is necessary for the front end to know so it can build the display correctly. But the rest of the information is here that goes just kind of dynamic information that's pasted onto the website for this right here. We're not going to get into joining because that's a whole different service in itself. That pretty much completes this video. That's the getPools, and it can build and return a lot of information just in a very short time with the CoreiRST product. I think sooner or later I need to do a video on showing how to debug these jobs, look at them run, running them locally, running them and debugging them from cross-platform. All that stuff's real easy to do with this product. In fact, I'll show you this right here with this one. If we take the option one, maintain API library. So any of the services that are out here cross-platform that will be able to run, we can always run them locally also and check them to make sure they're working fine from a local level. So let's filter on LottoPool because that's the library for these services. And let's say getPools. Let's look at the request example that we have built in for this. This is kind of just an example. So there's some information. Yep, that looks similar to what we passed before. So we're going to use that, and we're going to, of course, you can validate, make sure it's a legitimate request with option 6. Then let's run it and see. This is going to run this SQLRPGLE program out of API 001 in LottoPool. And it's running the same thing as if you would have loaded the screen here, but it's just doing it locally so you can see the result set to make sure it runs correctly and everything's fine. It definitely looks like it's kind of run. Well, I don't think that was just a screen being lagging than the service running. But anyway, it ran locally and it produced exactly here what you would expect to see and what we kind of saw in the activity log from cross-platform. But this is just the result that's returned directly to this program here locally to see it run and perform correctly. That's a very, very handy feature of this. There you can test your work and your services locally without needing to get on Postman, have a complete website up and running to test these things. You can test them like this. And then when you know they run like this, you know they're going to run as long as your HTTP infrastructure is in place. Another thing you might not know about these services is they're also built, because they're SQLRPGLEs, they can all be called as SQL stored procedures, where you just call it from a regular SQL session, and it will return that JSON result set as a stored procedure result. Pretty cool. All right, the next video, we'll start tackling some of these other services here, and I'm sure it'll be edit participant settings. That's a neat one because it deals with images and how we store those images in our DB2 database. It's all really cool. So come back and check that one out. Thanks. CoreiRST Solutions LLC is your partner for IBMI custom development, integration, and modernization. With 30 years experience in AS400, iSeries, and IBMI space, we can handle any project, big or small. Do you need an IBMI access to get help sharpening your skills or to learn more about this amazing platform? Check out pub400.com, where access is free. Also from the same folks is professional IBMI hosting at RZKH, quite possibly the most knowledgeable experts in the IBMI ecosystem when it comes to providing large or small enterprise IBMI hosting.